It's Saturday morning. Tackled the green slime yesterday afternoon and blasted a path clean across the shed over here. So now I walk across from that side of that post across here and down to the end there without hitting the green slime. I did basically from a little bit that side of that post over this way a bit and down to that post there. There's not much green slime beyond that post, so I didn't go further, and that was enough hard work because I have to bend forward to use the pressure sprayer, and bending forward for extended periods is hard on my back. For those who don't know, I've actually had back surgery twice. Once in 1987 and once in 2009. Both for ruptured discs. Well, if you have to have surgery, you know it's bad. So they were bad. Comes from being 190 centimetres tall with short legs for my height. So I have a very long spine, lots of leverage on the base of my spine. Not good. Anyway, I'm going to get on with grabbing some gear. Our problem in Indonesia is that motor scooters are subject to theft. There's quite a market in stolen scooters apparently, which is why we built this scooter cage, which has the lock on it and all. But youngest stepson thinks it's too much hassle to lock them in here, so he parks them over at the house. They get parked in this back area here, which sometimes gets locked up, and sometimes they get parked down there just outside our back door, which is a damn nuisance because it gets in the way of walking out there. But in order to prevent them being stolen, being aware of this problem, I brought a whole lot of wheel locks from Australia. This one Jabida put on yesterday, and when she came out this morning, this thing had been moved backward to the point where that lock was jammed up in the forks, and she rolled it forward so she could get out to put the key in, and the key doesn't work. So I think somebody's came in here and tried to steal the scooter and then subsequently buggered up the lock trying to get that off. So hence me grabbing some tools. We have an angle grinder, which is the last resort, and we have a hacksaw of sorts, which I might be able to get the pin with without destroying the disc. But it's going to be a hardened pin, I suspect, so I suspect this isn't going to do any good, and we'll have to go through the angle grinder through there. But we'll see how we go. Well, I got it off with that angle grinder. I guess that pin wasn't hardened too much after all. So, right, we have access to the scooter again. I'm in the rear airlock, which is where our original networking infrastructure was installed. And I have a cooling fan that sits there happily running, cooling the stuff, but I don't know how clearly you can see, it's absolutely filthy. Just sucking the air in around here is enough to get you dirty. So I'm going to take that away and clean that. Rained again yesterday afternoon. It got very dark. So dark in fact that the light sensor up there decided it was night time and turned on the lights in the shed. So the consequence of that of course was the off-grid systems were not fully charged by the time we got to nightfall. The household one was fairly good, but the shed one had been diminished charging up the household one. Consequently overnight we got the power glitches early in the morning, and then the off-grid system went into a a glitch cycle, and it all got messy, so I had to completely shut it down and start it up again. It's okay at the moment, but I got the technicians looking into it again. Might have to start by seeing what I can do to this hose, because we have a split there, as you can see. So I'm wondering if I can cut it off there and reattach it there. I've got to see if I can unscrew this. I think there's another one near that end too. So I've got to look into where the holes are. Well, one at a time. Much better. I think there might be another small split close to that end, but I'll look into that after I've cleaned this fan and get a bit of a look at just how filthy it is here. Well, there's all the crud I blew off it. I'm sure Tobias will complain about me making a mess again, as I do. I can't feel a leak near that end, but what I'll do is I'll just leave it turned off and come back and look at the pressure gauge later. See whether it resembles something like that reading. Well, it appears that pressure switch is not working anymore because it pumps up until it blows the safety valve. Might have to look at getting another one of those. There we go. Oh well. Something else is going wrong that I need to fix. Okay, fan's back in service. Now on to the next thing. And the next thing is setting up this old POE switch, which I replaced with a better one. Well, I replaced this one because it seemed to be faulty. Now, I think that actually might have been the cable to the camera. So I've got a landline into this from a switch I have over there, if not that one back there, and then a line from POE into this, and then set it up and have a go at it. Oh, I'm back to the shed sometime later, and it looks like the pressure is holding now, so that's good. One of the things I came back to the shed for was to get more information on this pressure switch. So I need a 4-way, and that one, the safety valve's blowing at about 125 psi, so I need to look for pressure switch which switches lower than that but high enough to be useful. I think I saw one that said 85 to 120, so I should look for that one, I guess. The other thing I need is an Ethernet cable. I'm sure I can find one in here that works. That one will do. When I put it in initially, line 5 wasn't working, so I unplugged both ends and plugged it back in again. Now it's good. Just a bit of corrosion on the contacts, which is what we see around here regularly. So I'll take that one away. Well, I've just confirmed why that one was taken out of service. We have power on the power supply, but no power light on the front of this. When I first plugged it in before, it did have a power light, but by the time I went and found an Ethernet cable that worked for it, the power light's gone off and the box is off. So I'd say it's unwell. I'll wait for a different thing to turn up. And delivery from Shopping. This is where I get to see if it arrived intact. Supposed to be a 6-inch fan. And that would be a 4-inch fan. Or 3.5-inch fan. Not impressed so far. I'm not happy. I followed up with Lisa what the story was with these fans. There was difficulty with that website because it said they had 4, 6 and 8 inch fans, but it didn't give you the ability to differentiate in your order. I don't know why she ordered 2, still didn't find that out. Anyway, I sent her a link for a different website now where explicitly you can say that you want to get the 6 inch fan and one off please. And you'll notice at the back of the box there I actually have some 6 inch ducting left over from when we installed the range hoods here, because originally I bought the range hoods in Australia and planned out where to install them, but wasn't sure how we were going to get them ducted to the outside. And there's one which is on an internal wall, and I figured I might need a lot of ducting to get that to the outside. So those two are 6 metres long apparently. Turns out we used the 2 metre ones that came with the range hoods. So that's one thing that's been reordered. Another thing that I ordered was the POE, single port POE injector for the camera. And it'll just be a plug unit which plugs into an Indo type socket and has a LAN port and a POE port, and I'll plug that in near the gear in the back airlock, run a short lead from the router to the POE injector, and then the POE line will run off to the camera, which will be aimed at the back door, and that'll be set up later when I've actually received that thing. Another thing I've got on the go is this marble parkour kit, which I gave to Bendy, but he exhibits a distressing lack of mechanical interest or aptitude. So I think he's put about 2 hours into this, and I've put about 5 hours into it, and I'm just going to finish it off in his absence. First thing I'm going to do is go back and review everything that's been done so far and make sure that I've got it right so far. I had to spend a bit of time on it the other day, just lubricating this mechanism because it was inclined to bind up. So I'm going to go back and find out what else was in the instructions that hasn't been done, because I can see there's parts in there that I think should be present. There's one that's fallen out, and it's very, very fiddly, I can tell you. Not really meant for fingers my size. It's meant for 14 and up apparently, but 14 and up with mechanical aptitude and nimble fingers. Shaky. Mine tend to be a bit shaky. But yeah, anyway, so that's what I'm up to. I was right, I did miss a step earlier. You can see on that side we have these things, and on the diagram here it shows you putting them on one side. Oh yeah, okay. And it didn't notice that it actually swapped orientation between 2 drawings here, putting them on, so I need to put them on this other side as well, which I'll now proceed to do. That's better, it's a bit more rigid like I thought it should be now. So, back to the relevant page for that. It goes there, and this piece goes on here. With those sprockets aligned. to go okay, righto. Engaging for the, let's go again. You don't need to see me agonising over this. I shall soldier on and get it settled down properly. That's good. Do it that way. Yeah, well, more later. So we're done. If I hold down two places to stop it losing engagement. It's not good when we have two balls going in the ladder at once. So that's going one path. That split it did well. Split them by different paths. There you go. Job's right. You can see what I mean about parking outside the back door. So if you want to go that way, got to go around it. And it's a bit concerning too. It does exhibit a complete lack of consideration for the convenience of other people. Oh well. A crop on Jabita's jambu tree at the back here is starting to ripen. Lots and lots of them in there. So yeah, anyway, it's Friday and time to do an upload, I guess. I took the power supply for that POE switch across to the shed yesterday and put a multimeter on it, and the power supply is good, so the POE switch has gone on the recycle now. So I just have to wait for the plug-in one, single port one, to come from Shopee before I can proceed with that camera for the back door. Meantime, the camera up on the tank stand, which I don't know if I'll be able to see against the glare of the light. That one up there has stopped talking to me, so it could be a corrosion issue. You probably can't see, but on the ledge, on the shelf above it there, there's a little black blob. That's the POE splitter, because that camera doesn't have built-in POE splitting. So that means there's two RJ45 plug-in socket combinations involved. So I'd like to see those unplugged and plugged back in again, just to see whether that clears any corrosion that might be on those plugs before I give up on that particular camera. The camera that I'm now targeting to install for the back door was originally purchased to replace that one when it first went offline, but in the wait time between ordering it and it arriving, this one came back to life one day. So now I really do think the other one will be pointed at the back door and set up. Whether this one comes back to life or not is another question. I then got to figure out whether I really need to have a view of the front of the shed, because it is useful in some ways, but not essential, I guess. But anyway, I got to edit all this stuff down and do an upload and get out of the sun, because it's a bit after 10 in the morning and it feels like it's already over 43 degrees Celsius. So back to the comfortable room.